Oh shit, here we go again.
Righto, so we've got the gearbox off. It all looks really good. The clutch looks fine. We only did 1,000 Ks, so the clutch is perfect. This block is really good. I've had a straight edge across the top, so from here to here. So like measuring the, your deck height and checking to see if it was warped or anything, and it's not. There's no hot spots. You can't see where there was any leaks. There was no leaks here. The clutch looks fine. It's a direct racing clutch. Pretty well every GTR guy runs these dual plate clutches, and as I said, the deck height looks really good. It's all nice and straight. All the Welsh plugs are tidy, so this will be a really good block to hold on to. I know these things are getting hard to get now, so yeah, it'll be good to hold on to this. We're going to pull the sump off now. We're going to put the brakes up on the bench out of the way so they don't get damaged. Pull the clutch off, get the sump off, get the K-frame off. We're going to put the K-frame back up in, the subframe back up in, so we can then get it to paint. So got a little bit of work to do, but it should be fun. Sick. Get these big bad boys off. Check them out. Sick. She's all looking pretty good. Thanks to Angus the filmer coming down to give me a hand for a couple of hours. Block here, I'm gonna leave as dressed up as much as I can. I'll leave the water pump on it. I'll leave the brand new Nitto N1 oil pump on it also. And this will be a good 9.5 to 1 forged block that I can use myself, or I can keep, and if anyone needs one, just contact me. And it's a really good engine. It's got a really good crank. It's a great block. I had crack tested and checked. It's got ACL race series bearings. And I'll probably leave all these oil lines and water lines, which were all brand new. I might leave them on it as well. I'm really looking forward to this HKS2.8 motor. It's going to be sick. It's what I wanted. And with the turbos we got, with VCAM, and with the dump pipes, I think it will be probably one of the coolest GTRs to drive. So stay tuned guys, it's going to be sick. I've got a 2-wheel drive sump I can put on it to protect it. The brand new Nissan or Nismo engine mounts. These pipes I'm going to order new ones because I like the look of these ones. This is going to be a really good engine for someone. If it's not myself, we'll find a good use for it. I might put an OS Geiken because that's what I really wanted the first time around, but this is a really good clutch and it would be a waste just to leave it on there. It's been a really good day. I've made a lot of big decisions today and I know where we're going with the car now, which is great. So I'm going to reuse a lot of this stuff. That'll go with this motor. I'm going to look for an RB26 head or even an RB25 head. I'm happy to put on a 26 motor. These turbos, we're going to stay twin turbo, HKS 2.8 with these turbos and VCAM. I think with a sequential box, and you'd have yourself a real killer car, and it's still a twin turbo GTR. Nevertheless, I know which way I'm going with the build now, and I'm super excited about it. This is a CES stainless steel mid-pipe. I'm going to get that up and get it re-pickled. I don't like the colour it's gone. I'm also going to get these stripped and get them re-ceramic coated because they have faded a little bit. Let me know what you guys think about getting the Tomei exhaust manifolds ceramic coated. Do you think it'd be too much to get them done? There's not an issue with them. Obviously they do produce a bit of heat. I could try and wrap them, but I know that looks horrible. I may wrap my dump pipes as well as ceramic coating them, but these things stay pretty cool. The ITBs are perfect. They look like brand new still. I'll wrap them up in bubble wrap until we get stuck back into the build. This has got to go with the head. which I've got wrapped up and all ready to send away, so I've got to send that as well. I know where I'm going with the build now, which I'm super excited about. So what I'm going to do is go with exactly what I wanted in the first place, and what that was is to go 2.8 HKS step 0, step 2, either way it doesn't matter. I want to go the twin turbos that I used. I'm going to go a Nismo intake manifold. We're going to go Dartone Racing ITBs. Dartone Racing's got the head. They're going to do their full Fiora valve work on it. They're going to go +1mm oversized valves, do a heap of porting on the intake runner, like the ITB runner. They're going to port the head completely. So you can sort of see here now actually, so see these marks here? That is where the intake runner used to bolt up. Now that air would come in there, hit this flat edge, like that is the worst edge you could think of. It's gonna create a huge turbulence of the air, especially down low when you're not on full boost, and it's gonna disrupt the intake air. Now this other thing is, look how much meat we've got here to actually open these intake ports up. So if we open those intake ports right up, smooth them right out, get rid of all these Nissan casting marks, we've got a huge more volume of air going into each cylinder. We're then going to make the valves bigger, so the head of the valves are going to be oversized, so 1mm oversized, so that's quite big. You can go +2mm, but if you go +1mm and something goes wrong and we need to redo a valve, you can then go +2. Now that on its own is going to be enough to bring on the turbo probably another 1000 RPM sooner. With the 2.8 HKS kit, we're going to have that capacity to have a really low down torquey engine with the ability with the turbos we've got to have a high horsepower as well. God, I really do need to go through the old storage shed. If anyone's interested, got a Barra there with another one of Trevor's CES custom manifold, stainless steel, brand new GT42 with a T51R mod. Check that bad boy out. It is a high response turbo too though, so it's only got it's a 1.15 rear housing, so it's actually a pretty small housing. It's T4 or whatever they're called, T4 with V-band rear housing. So there you go, that is for sale if anyone wants it. It was pretty expensive manifold. It's one of Trevor's last sort of CNC Barra plates he had. But this is all my cool Nismo stuff, my LMGT4s in 19s. I kept the 265 wide tyre on those two, which is pretty cool. Camera doesn't show it. It's a really good condition set of OG R32 wheels. GTR wheels. I love the standard wheels, especially with a good set of tyres like the Bridgestone Potenzas. I don't know what size they are, 225s. I'd love to see the date on them because that's the tyres that were on it when I imported the 32 from Japan. What I want to do is grab one of the standard turbos and take it with me. Okay, so I thought it'd be cool to do a quick video while I've got the turbos out to compare the twin GTX 2867s to the standard turbos that the 32s come out with. But I think it's a good idea to check them out and see what the difference is. I'm not here to convince single turbo guys that twins are better. They've got their place, singles have got their place, but turbos have come a long way. Let's check it out. So physically, you can see that they are very similar in shape and size. Obviously this is a bolt-on model, so it has to be very similar. If we sort of lay them together like that, you can clearly see that there is a bit of difference in the compressor housing design. But yeah, the rear housing on these is where it's different. The exhaust housing, you can see this one has got a lot more meat in it. It obviously flows more. Now if you look on the inside of this, you will get our reading of size. This is a 0.46 AR rear housing, the exhaust housing. The one on the 2867s comes out with, it actually comes out with this one here, which I have shown you guys before. It is a much higher one. It's a 0.85. Now I took that one off because I wanted response. I would love to use that one because it is Artex stainless steel, but 0.85 twins is a bit too much. So I put Garrett's 0.64 on. So it's pretty well the equivalent to this one, it's just a little bit bigger. So that's the rear housing done. We look properly at the front. This is where it gets interesting. So you can clearly see that they are two-stepped. Both have got two steps in them. There's an outer and an inner. Now these just have a standard core, obviously, and these have got the GCG core where you can see the grub screw there, where they put it in their mill, lave it out, and then insert the billet compressor wheel. So if you look at the standard one, it's 50 mil across the front. Now that's not the diameter of the compressor wheel, that's just across the front face. And on this one, we got 70 mil, 65, 70 mil. So big difference, straight off the bat, there's a big difference. So where the biggest difference is the thickness in this metal. We don't have it on the 2867. So you can see how much they've actually taken out here, which is quite a bit to fit the new billet wheel in. So if I sort of gauge it by eye, I would say that this compressor wheel is about 40 mil in there, okay? And that's probably giving it a bit of love too. So let's just go with 40 mil, maybe 38 mil compressor wheel. You can see these fins have had a pretty good life too. They're not worn out, but they definitely have some wear on them. So what do we got there? Let's say 38, 40 mil with a bit of love. And the inside core on the GTX 2867s are 50 mil. So you've gone from a 38 mil compressor wheel to a billet 50 mil, and that's where the huge gain in these turbos are. And I'm not sure how many other guys run these. I know Joe does in the States, which we spoke about. Now unfortunately Joe doesn't have the GCG version. He would have got them if he knew about them. So I'm not so sure if the standard size of, if you just went to Garrett and got a 2867, I don't believe it has the 50 mil billet wheel in the front. But yeah, that's interesting. So Garrett, you can sort of see they lead the way in turbos. We're not sponsored by them or anything. However, we do know the guys at Garrett, and they are going to work with us on all our projects from now on. So it is good to give the viewers a bit of knowledge on these things. And you can clearly see that Garrett and GCG together make a really good turbo. So there you have it. Physically very similar in size, but their output definitely is impressive. We know they go 640 horsepower and probably a bit more with the 2.8. So if we know they go 640 with a really good torque line with a 2.6, we go a 2.8 VCAM, and that's just going to be way sooner. So there you have it. Garrett, thank you. You make awesome turbos. Just had a really good conversation with Kevin from Frenchie's Performance Garage, and we sort of spoke about the HKS 2.8 that we're using. And while we're on the subject of turbos, it brings me back to this stainless steel 0.85 rear housing, and I'm going to put these back on. So because we're upping the capacity to 2.8, we believe that with VCAM and the right cams and the right head porting, that we can put these high flow 0.85 rear housings on. And it's not the higher horsepower we're chasing, but because they're cast stainless, like these are almost like a billet type setup. So everything's so smooth, the wastegates are much better. I'm really happy that we're going to utilize these housings. So these are the original housings that the 2867s come on them. So this is not what Garrett puts on them, this is what GCG put on them. And I'm so happy with what they've done with the front housing, the front compressor wheel, that I'm super stoked that I'm able to use this. Now on the 2.6, it would have been so, well, we don't know, but if you do the measurements right, it's not going to come on till like, you know, $5 grand. With VCAM and the 2.6, and maybe they flow better. We won't know until we get this thing on the dyno, but I'm super happy to be using them. I really hope you enjoyed this episode about turbos and where we're going with the RB28 now, I guess I can call it, well, unofficially. But stay tuned, guys, it's going to be pretty cool. It's going to be awesome for you guys to see the build all the way up through to getting it on the dyno. Yeah, leave us a comment, stay in touch. We love to hear from you guys. We appreciate the support, and hopefully we grow. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. Cheers guys.